Kimberly Cortez. Welcome back. This is Expedition Love. We have taken several weeks now to talk about different things that we need to overcome in our life so that we can step into our agape love calling. We've talked about things like forgiveness and acceptance, forgiveness, tolerance. We talked a lot about the lies we believe about ourselves and about other people that cause us to divide and separate, that cause hatred and division. And last week we even talked about the struggle involved in inner healing and how the struggle is so worth it because when we heal on the inside, when we really take time to repair the trauma, repair the lies, repair the damage inside of our subconscious being, we really open ourselves to expanding, to seeing things from different vantage points, to having paradigm shifts, to seeing people in new ways, to being able to reach out in new ways, to serve in new ways. So today I wanted to start to talk about some of the things we can tangibly do to start really healing on the inside, to tackle that inner healing we've been talking about. And one of the first things that I want to talk about in inner healing is really awakening to a couple things. Because really, you can't change. You can't have a paradigm shift unless you become aware of certain things. If you are willing to stop and recognize certain truths that can be a springboard into the rest of your healing. And I talk about this in depth in my book, Expedition Love, about the need to recognize who we truly are, to recognize the fact that we are made in the image of God and we're meant to shine. And I really want to take a minute to stop on this idea for a minute here and contemplate this idea because I think we just pass over it so quickly, but really it is the threshold to inner healing, to realizing your self-worth, to realizing who you are in this place, in this world, and why you're so important. So today I want to let you know that the first step one in inner healing, is becoming aware of who you are, the radical importance that you have in your world and with your others. You need to understand that you were made in the image of God. You were made with a purpose, with a destiny. You see, when God created you, He literally installed, He downloaded, He integrated into your DNA a purpose, a calling. And He gave you talents, and He gave you gifts, and He gave you expressions that enable you, that equip you to go out into the world and accomplish that purpose. And everything we do, everything God gives us always comes back to the same thing. It always comes back to love. The gifts you were given, they were given to you for a purpose of love and service, of making a difference in the world around you, of leaving a legacy behind, of changing things for the better, for the greater good of yourself and others. That is what your purpose is for. It is to release love, to release acceptance, to release tolerance. And I want you today to take some time to really stop and contemplate who you are and how important you are to others around you. I talk about in my book that I truly believe in my heart of hearts that God has assigned a small, intimate group of others to each one of us. And we're meant to impact their lives. We're meant to pour specifically into their lives the love and gifts and talents and service that God has given us. We are meant to give away to them, to shape their lives, to help their lives, to edify their lives. Your personal others, your spouse, your brother, your sister, your best friend, your cousin. Those people who are your inner circle. Those are your personal others. They were assigned to you. And everything inside of you that God created you to be is meant to impact them. If we all took the time to recognize who we are, how special we are, how unique we are, The fact that we're created in the image of God and we're meant to shine. If we really contemplated on that fact and connected it to the purpose of our others, we would change this entire world. Each one of us individually doing that would collectively change the entire world. It might sound small, it might sound insignificant, but it's not when it is understood on an individual level that leads to a collective level. It becomes very big. It becomes a huge worldwide change. So recognizing who you are, recognizing that you have a purpose and a destiny, recognizing that you are made in the image of God and that you are meant to shine and that there is a purpose on your life is step one. What's step two? Recognizing who others are, recognizing why they're worth the time to invest in, why they are worth your love and your service. Why? Because they're created in the image of God and they are meant to shine just like you. And they have others that they need to give their gifts and talents to. It's a ripple effect. It's a domino effect. They can't do their purpose. They can't live their destiny if you don't live your destiny. If you want your kids to shine, if you want your kids to give your grandkids the inspiration of knowing their self-worth, then you have to know your self-worth and you have to be willing to give it away to your others. So I just want to reiterate, step one to inner healing is awaken to who you are. Realize that God made you special. He made you unique. You are a one of a kind, and you are meant to shine. Step two, recognize who other people are. Recognize who your personal assigned others are. Recognize that they are made in the image of God and they are meant to shine and they are filled with talents and gifts that are meant to go out to their others and change the world. Understand the ripple effect of your life. Understand the domino effect. Get in tune with it. And if you're having trouble connecting to who you are and who other people are, there's a really simple resource that you can use to help educate yourself, to help expand your view and see this truth for everything it's meant to be. And that tool is the Bible. When we read the Bible, when we start to understand Jesus's message, when we start to pray and communicate with God, He communicates back. He teaches us. The Holy Spirit is our counselor and our teacher. And when we invest time into studying the Bible, we begin to see very quickly who we are and who others are and our purpose in this world. And that purpose is love and service. Always. It never changes. Jesus' greatest commandment was love God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. And love others like you love yourself. That is the greatest commandment. Every law in the Bible hangs on understanding this message. If you focus on this message, this portion of the Bible, and this portion alone, you will get everything else right. You will hit the mark on everything else. So if you want to really step into inner healing today, I want you to focus this week, contemplate this week on who you are and who others are. And one last thing about others that I just want to remind you. While I absolutely believe with all my heart that God has assigned each one of us a special set, a designated set of others, that does not mean that our impact stops there. Our impact can absolutely be global, be nationwide, be statewide, be countrywide, be whatever you want to define it as. It doesn't have to stop at your others, but it always needs to begin with your personal others. It always needs to start there, and it never needs to change. It always needs to remain there. Your ultimate focus, your first priority is always your personal others. And if you are doing a good job there, God will take you further. I guarantee you, He will take you further. And just remember this as well, the ripple effect will happen. If you do your part, if you focus on your others, they'll do their part. And then they'll do their part. And then they'll do their part. And it'll keep on going, and it'll keep on going. And a global impact will happen. So I just really want you to focus on that this week. Meditate on it. Think about it. Who are you? Who did God create you to be? What is your purpose? What are your gifts and talents? Who are your others, and who are they? And if you're not sure, open up that Bible. Start reading. Start reading. Start in Matthew. Read the 4 Gospels. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. Read them. Study them. Read what Jesus said about you. It's going to blow your mind, I trust you. Because Jesus has some very powerful words to say to you. He's going to tell you that you're meant to go out into the world and do more than He did. Can you imagine that? More than Jesus did. How? By realizing who you are and realizing who others are. So that's it for this week. If you haven't gotten Expedition Love, order it today, because I talk about all this stuff. All this stuff is in my book. And I really want you to be able to grasp it and realize it. It's such simple truths that can become so profound in your life. So check it out. If you haven't, you can order it today on Amazon. And before you check out, before you turn off this video, subscribe down below. And that's it for this week. I will see you next week. Until then, love and blessings.